Hi, my name is Jennifer, and I'm an intern with the Client Relations team, and the ball starts in 3 minutes.
Hi, I'm Chanel Giles with the Wider Circle, and it's 2 minutes before the community ball starts.
Hi, I'm Alali with the Client Relations team. You'll hear more from me later. Now there's only 60 seconds until the community ball starts. Please take your seats.
Shh! The community ball is about to start. In 3, 2, 1, I pass it over to you, Michael.
Good evening, and welcome to a Wider Circle's first ever virtual community ball. I'm taking my mask off. We're live in the studio, but we are socially distanced, as you can see with my friend Mark back here. Thank you all for joining us. We're super excited to be here. We're excited that you're joining us from places near and far. My name is Michael Aiken, and I'm going to serve as your MC this evening. Tonight will be a special evening, full of a Wider Circle's work and impact. You will hear from staff, clients, volunteers, honorees, and special guests. As we move through the evening, don't forget to engage with us on social media. We truly want this to be an interactive experience. You can follow us at a Wider Circle, and when you're posting, please be sure to use hashtags CommunityBall and Recovery for All. Now, before we dig into the program, let's hear a few words from a Wider Circle's founder, president, and CEO, Dr. Mark Burgell. Mark?
Good evening. I'm grateful that you are all choosing to be here for this next hour. And the key word is choosing, because we get to choose tonight and tomorrow and the next day how big we want to think and how much we want to get done. We can choose if it is okay for millions of people to struggle each day, living in scarcity in a country that, even during these tumultuous times, has abundance. And you get to choose self-interest or the betterment of society. Lao Tzu said, "The ignorant cast blame and the wise seek solutions." But tonight, I want to impart ignorance as well as wisdom, because we are to blame for the poverty in our midst, not people born into it, facing from birth the incredible challenges and stress that comes with poverty. It's us and our choices. But the good news is that we are also the solution, each of us, in as many ways as we choose to be the solution. Tonight, I will hope that we lean into that and that we give at a level that will lead to substantive change. Let's choose to think big, to recognize how crazy it is that we allow poverty to endure, how crazy it is that people don't have beds or dressers or tables and chairs or couches and televisions when there's so much stuff all around us. Let's choose to get together during a time when division is more easily embraced, and together, starting tonight, let's solve this.
Thank you, Mark. Now, some of you may not know that Mark founded this organization almost 20 years ago, and it's inspiring to see just how much A Wider Circle has grown and has been able to serve hundreds of thousands across our region. This work and impact was only possible because of the many donors, individuals, corporations, foundations, and more who believed in the mission and in the team and who felt compelled to give to this organization. Let's start by taking a moment to thank all of you, our donors, our financial and in-kind donors, our volunteers, over 30,000 of you, our staff, partners, and those we serve. Our impact is because all of you. And of course, a huge thank you to all of our tremendous sponsors for this evening, including the Durbin family, FDI Consulting, Avalon Bay Communities, Morriston and Forrester, Pepco and Exelon Company, JBG Smith, Discovery Inc., Johnson & Johnson, Halmar International, Matt and Polly Poffenroth, Kim and Mark Schifrin, the Judge family, the Bazzuto Group, and Folger Pratt. It's an incredible collection of sponsors, and we thank you. Tonight's an opportunity for you to continue that legacy, to widen the circle and support those who need it most. Tonight's an opportunity to join the sponsors and donors who've already given to make this night possible. This is our single biggest fundraising event of the year, and one where you can make so much possible. Throughout the evening, there are going to be key moments to give to support our mission and our future. The details on how to give will be featured right here, so look down at the bottom of the screen when the time comes. Let's get things started with our very first video story. As many of you know, A Wider Circle has a compassionate and committed staff, nearly 70 strong. Throughout the evening, you will see many of them in quick messages, transition segments, and stories about A Wider Circle's work and impact. This story features two team leaders who make the magic happen in our Silver Spring Center. They work on complementary ends of our essential support program, helping thousands of our neighbors furnish their homes each year. And guess what? All of that work continued, even in spite of the pandemic. Let's take a look.
Hi, I'm Jacob. I'm with the Neighbor to Neighbor team. Thank you for all that you do to support A Wider Circle. Now listen to this story.
My team works with the donors who have non-financial donations. So we're responsible for getting all the household items, furniture, baby items, and professional development clothing for our families. Each year, our Neighbor to Neighbor team goes into the homes of about 5,000 donors. Additionally, more than 20,000 donors come to our center to drop off furniture, household items, baby items, and clothing. Each day, 20 to 30 families come to our center to pick out items for their homes. So we set up the center like a furniture showroom. So there's an area for furniture, one for households, there's another area for baby items, and then we have our professional development center where they pick out their clothing. They shop just like you would at a store, but of course at no charge.
We're always in need of so many mattresses. The demand is so high, and for us it's a goal to make sure that each one of our individuals and family members coming in are able to go home and sleep on a mattress that night.
So it really is quite remarkable when you get to see the families coming in to pick out their own items as they're starting a fresh life. It's really a new life for them.
We often get a lot of excitement. There have been moments when clients often cry and start sharing stories about their sleeping situation. I've heard so many clients who are sleeping on the floor, on the couch, crates, air mattresses that deflate overnight. And so that isn't a dignified way to be sleeping each night. And I think that's really what drives all of us to make sure that we're seeking support in the community to have more of those mattresses dropped off and making sure that our clients are able to have a bed to sleep in that night.
So it's so interesting because I think that we think a lot about the lives of the clients and what struggles they may have, but they're not so different from the donors that we have. A lot of our donors will share stories with us as well, that perhaps they've suffered a tragedy, they've lost a parent or a spouse or a child, and they want their their items, their treasured items, to live on with other families. Or perhaps an older couple is downsizing, and that dining table that has hosted so many family celebrations and holiday dinners will now live on to create new traditions in new homes. And that's what these donors want as well. So for many years, I served in a corporate environment for decades. And I really wanted a change and to have an opportunity to work for a nonprofit. And so I came to a wider circle, and in our first staff meeting, Mark spoke of his love for the staff. And in a corporate job, you would never hear that. And I felt so welcome and home in this environment. And so really that's how we serve everyone. We serve our clients that way. And we certainly reach out to our donors and our volunteers with that same sense of love and welcoming. And so really for this movement, in order for us to be successful and end poverty, we need to bring everyone along. We're really like, come with us on this journey, on this movement to end poverty. Oftentimes donors will ask, where do the items go? Who receives these? And it's very wonderful to be able to share that the items that we receive go into the homes of those living without the basic items that they need. And so we get to tell them that within 24 to 48 hours of receiving their item, they're usually rehomed and in somebody else's home. And so we invite our donors to come in as volunteers or to take a tour and see us in action, see that the client families are coming through and selecting their items, and volunteers are helping with the process. And it's really just a flow of activity from people donating and volunteering and our clients that we serve.
All of what we do wouldn't be possible without all of the support that we receive from the community, whether they're donors, volunteers, everyone who's engaged into our organization and our mission really just helps us make each day possible, not only with furniture appointments, but also just thinking big picture and what our mission is.
We have volunteers who are 3 to 93. 3-year-olds, they can sort toys and they can match socks, and we need to bring everybody into this. So we say no to no one, because that's what it's going to take to end poverty. We need everyone to be part of this movement.
I am a wider circle.
I am a wider circle.
Wow. Seeing all the furniture, housewares, toys, and professional clothing made me so proud to be part of the A Wider Family Circle. Thank you to all of our neighbors in the region that can furnish their homes with essential items like a bed, tables, chairs, and all the furniture that truly makes a house feel like a place to call home. Great work, Alali, Janet, and all those involved in the Essential Support Program. We know many of you watching have donated, volunteers, and seen the impact of this critical program, which is the only one of its kind in the whole region. With such a sense of instability in the lives of Americans right now, this work has become more important than ever. Right now, you can make it possible for someone to feel rooted in their community and to gain a true sense of place. By donating $450, you can furnish an entire home through our Essential Support Program. $450 for an entire home. To give, visit us online at awidercircle.org/essential, or simply click on the link in your chat feed right now, and you'll be able to donate right away. And now back to our CEO.
Michael, I know you have not been over there knocking down walls or digging holes, but tonight I officially invite you to do just that. Actually, you just keep trying to raise funds. That might be the best use of skills. And maybe that can support Donahoe's efforts to renovate our Silver Spring headquarters. And just last week, in fact, the team led by Donahoe started renovations that will nearly double our showroom space and allow us to serve so many more of our neighbors. We purchased this building back in 2015, and since then it has carried the name of the Ann and Don Brown Center for Community Service, which this renovated building will also proudly bear. Love you, Ann, and a special prayer to Don. I hope everyone will give in the spirit that the Browns gave and continue to give. So let's take a quick look at what we've accomplished so far.
Well, I'm certainly excited to see the renovations take shape, and I know many will benefit from the expanded space and services. Now it's time to highlight our first honoree of the evening, Maryland State Senator Will Smith. A Wider Circle has supported Maryland residents from 17 counties, just as Senator Smith supports residents from across his state. Senator Smith represents the Tacoma Park area, a zone full of many of our wonderful volunteers, including Senator Smith himself, and perhaps many of our guests watching tonight. Let's hear more about the work they're doing in our community.
Hey everyone, my name is Will Smith, and I'm a Maryland State Senator representing Silver Spring and Tacoma Park. 2020 has been one of the most intriguing years in recent memory. And although every year comes with its challenges and opportunities, this year has been unique. The global pandemic has exploited society's greatest vulnerabilities. From the inequities in our criminal justice system to housing and food insecurity and the achievement gap, none of us are in a position to ignore our collective challenges. Now, the silver lining in all of this is that we've been forced to innovate and reimagine. New perspectives, new ideas, new possibilities, and a recommitment to ensure that every member of our society has that equal chance and unfettered start in the race of life. Now, founded in 2001, A Wider Circle has played an incalculable role in helping thousands of families reimagine their own future. In its first year of operation, the organization furnished the homes of 774 children and adults and delivered 33 educational programs at local shelters. Today, A Wider Circle has 60 staff members, 15 university interns, and more than 30,000 people come from across the state to volunteer with the organization every year. And to date, the organization has served more than 260,000 children, adults, through its educational programs and by providing urgently needed beds, dressers, cribs, and more. I'll never forget the first time I visited A Wider Circle. Mark was taking me through the warehouse, and we walked through and we saw a piece of furniture, and he said, "Tonight, someone's gonna sit on that chair like a king." I've never forgotten the way I felt about the organization at that moment. And from that moment, I've volunteered with the organization, I've donated to the organization, and more importantly, I continue to be inspired by the work of the organization. A Wider Circle is part of that quintessential grassroots movement. So tonight, I'm excited to receive the Outstanding Leadership and Public Service Award for my work in the legislature and in my community. And I'm even more proud to be a part of the launch of the National Plan to End Poverty, A Wider Circle's blueprint for how each and every one of us can do our part to end poverty as we know it. Thank you for this honor, and more importantly, thank you for all the outstanding work you do in our community. Have a good night.
Will, you are a rock star and a rising star in our state and our nation. Please accept the 2020 Outstanding Public Service and Leadership Award. Thanks for all you do and for the suits and the other stuff you have brought over to A Wider Circle over the years. You are one of many elected officials who have helped us build solutions, and in fact, we have several joining us here tonight, including Montgomery County Council President Sidney Katz, Montgomery County Council Vice President Tom Hucker, Montgomery County Council Member Gabe Albornoz, Montgomery County Council Member Hans Reamer, Montgomery County Council Member Andrew Friedson, Washington, D.C. Council Member Mary Che, Maryland State Senator Jeff Waldstreicher, Maryland Al Carr, Maryland State Delegate Lily Chi, Maryland State Delegate Julie Palakovich-Carr, Maryland State Delegate Jared Solomon, Janae Frazier Bowens from the Office of U.S. Senator Tim Scott, and the Honorable Ann Brown. Together with these public servants, we are committed to righting the wrong that is poverty and to making it a priority. Thanks to each of you for joining us this evening.
Thank you, Mark, and thanks again to all of our elected officials who've joined us in championing this cause. A Wider Circle has three main program areas. You've already learned about the first, the Essential Support Program. The second, our workforce development, takes an even deeper dive into the issues that surround poverty in order to create lasting impact. As you will see from our next video, A Wider Circle doesn't focus only on placing someone in a job, but partnering with them, supporting them in the journey, and helping them identify a career. This video features a participant in our 5-year program, which we call the Partnership to Independence, and it highlights her reentry back into the workforce. Join me in learning more.
Hi, this is Danny Garcia. Thank you so much for supporting A Wider Circle. Now, listen to this story.
My life prior to coming to Wider Circle was very challenging, to say the least. I was living in a homeless shelter with at the time he was 7. My experience in the homeless shelter, I felt like I didn't really get any help. As far as like resources or just any little thing that I can grab onto to get out of that situation, it wasn't available.
Mika is an incredible human being. I love her dearly. She came to A Wider Circle because she wanted to change her life and her son's life. She was determined to do so, and she has worked extremely hard to get where she is, and she's still working hard. You know, we all struggle every day, but Mika has such a positive attitude.
Lizanne, of course, is my advocate through Wider Circle, through the Partnership to Independence program. And so she's kind of become like family for me. And I'm the type of person, it's very difficult for me to ask for help. So Lizanne was so patient with me. She's like, if you need anything, let me know. And people kind of say that, but you don't know how genuine it is. And she has been like the top support system for me.
Working closely with Mika for over the past 2 years as her advocate, it's really given me the opportunity to see her grow as a person, as a mother, as a colleague, and as a friend.
When I was introduced to Wider Circle, they offered those resources, and yeah, you got to put in the work, but it's there. So what they do is they pretty much like help you for 5 years. They advocate for you, but they help you get on your feet. Whatever you're lacking in life or need assistance in, they have it here covered. Even like, as you can see here, you need to go to a job interview. They provide like clothing, very good clothing that you can go to a store and buy. So yeah, it's up to you though as the participant to put in that work. The biggest misconception about living in poverty is it's your fault. You must have did something to become homeless, and that is not. I pride myself in, I've always done everything right in life, went to school, I've always had good jobs, and unfortunately life happens.
She worked really hard. She had a job coach. She worked with our director of workforce development and me, and did everything she was supposed to do. She sent out resumes, she volunteered, and she just wasn't getting the opportunity. But in the process, she had applied to Montgomery County Public Schools for a job. So finally she heard from them, and they wanted her to interview for a secretary position in a school. And she went in, and people just immediately liked Mika. And so they offered her a job within the day.
My life changed completely, like 180. I am now living in my own apartment.
I think people like us who have been fortunate and grown up with opportunities and chances and connections need to recognize that we didn't do this alone, and that we need to reach out and give these other, extend these opportunities and chances to people who are living in poverty, because they need the support. They need other people to help them. They need to be starting at the same playing field that we all started with.
My son's life now will be different because he has stability now. Him having his own room was like one of the big things I wanted to give to him. He's 9, he deserves that. And then as well as the other participants who have children, he's become, friends with them and keeps in touch with them. So, him seeing me going through the process, I feel like will give him the confidence to move on when there's any challenges that he faces in his life.
More commonly, there are people on the other side of the counter who don't treat you as a human being. And that's one of the things that has changed Mika as well. She's observed this, and she wants to serve other people. Right now she's serving students, but she wants to serve other people with humanity, with love, because she has not been met with that so many times in her life.
My next goal is, of course, learning how to save money. And also I would like to go back to school. I feel like sky's the limit now. Like I said before, I truly believe if it wasn't for Wider Circle, I wouldn't be where I'm sitting today.
I am a Wider Circle.
I am a Wider Circle.
I'm so impressed with Mika and all of her accomplishments, and I look forward to hearing much more about her successes. And wouldn't all of us love to have an advocate or a friend as committed and supportive as Lizanne? She's a true example of the compassion and love that each team member at a Wider Circle feels for the people and the communities that they serve. As you've learned, the Workforce Development Program is about way more than just getting a job. It's about supporting and coaching people on their journey to financial independence. This concept is one that's holistic, offering specific skills in resume writing, interviewing, along with social capital, networking, and motivation. We are currently offering a virtual workforce training program. It's been running for almost a month with more than 20 training modules. This program, which has been spearheaded by Adam Albanese, our Director of Workforce Development, has continued to thrive in the midst of the pandemic with a host of virtual workshops and individualized sessions. And just as the work is kept going, we need your generosity to keep going tonight. Now's your chance to support our workforce development efforts by supporting a job seeker on their journey. Simply give now at the address on the screen, awidercircle.org/workforce, which can also be found in your chat feed. Your donation of $25 per month on a recurring basis ensures we can support the work of community members like Mika and team members like Lizanne. Now I have the pleasure to introduce a special feature in our program, a few words from U.S. Senator Tim Scott about the importance of opportunity in this recovery for all.
Good evening, everyone. It's Senator Tim Scott here. I want to applaud the efforts of A Wider Circle and all that they do to pull folks out of poverty. I know poverty firsthand. I grew up in a single-parent household in North Charleston. My personal experiences fuel my passion to create viable opportunities in our most underserved communities. My opportunity agenda is focused on quality education, bridging the wealth gap, empowering the innovation economy, and criminal justice reform. I am also committed to expanding broadband access to our rural and overlooked areas. I know that COVID-19, the pandemic, has caused so many unexpected challenges. But I want you to know our best days are ahead. I am committed to ensuring that every person has the chance to achieve the American dream. I hope to see you all in person real soon. Keep up the good work and enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you, Senator Scott. It's going to take all of us to ensure that this truly is a recovery for all. And we're thrilled to have so many partners and supporters in this with us. This evening, you've heard about some of our programs, including essential support and workforce development. Now we're going to take a look at a new chapter of A Wider Circle, an exciting next step in our journey of neighborhood programming. We're going to hear from Amy Javed, A Wider Circle Senior Vice President, who will share more about how we plan to expand the work of A Wider Circle in the near future.
My name is Amy Javed, and I'm the Senior Vice President of A Wider Circle. We're standing here today in what will become our newest hub, our Southeast Center, that will be the anchor for our Neighborhood Partnership Program in Southeast DC. We are very excited that soon where I am standing right now will be a conference center where partners can come and offer workshops, where we can have groups of people, appropriately distanced, learn and engage, communicate, and plan. We are excited that further in the back, there will be an opportunity for some of our partners to have one-on-one consultations to prevent some of our neighbors here having to travel across the city to receive services and information. This is one of the new and exciting chapters of A Wider Circle. It will open later this fall and also be home to our Family Success Center, which is a unique partnership that we are embarking on with the Child and Family Services Administration, in which there are 9 other institutions, and together we will open 10 Family Success Centers across Ward 7 and 8. This partnership is only possible because of the DC Housing Authority. This building is one that we have worked together to be able to develop to allow residents not only who live immediately close by, but those who live in the general vicinity to come in, feel safe, and get all of the needed services that they require. Personally, my journey with the Wider Circle has been an interesting one. I began as a volunteer almost 10 years ago when I first brought my daughter when she was in kindergarten. And at that moment, I realized that what A Wider Circle did for the community was special. The long-term strategy and mission of A Wider Circle has been to eradicate poverty. We think about it holistically and comprehensively. And this crisis right now that we are facing is, to use an overused term, unprecedented. But what it has really done is shown a spotlight on the need and the struggle and the challenges that many of our neighbors face. And it is critically important that as we move forward, not only in COVID-19, but in the long-term recovery, that we continue to look at a comprehensive approach, a holistic approach that looks not just at some of the health disparities that have emerged during this time, but the ongoing lack of resources, lack of opportunity, unemployment, and other challenges that our neighbors face every day. Mark's leadership at A Wider Circle has been nothing short of inspirational. It doesn't matter if you are a staff member, a volunteer, a donor, a partner, or just someone who drove by. Mark makes you feel listened to. Mark encourages you to learn more, to engage more, to do more. Through his actions and his example of tirelessly working towards combating poverty, he has allowed many more people. He himself has widened the circle. He has allowed folks who might not have had any interest or presumably much time to devote or funds to give, and he has converted them in many ways to the issue, to the crisis, to the need. He has allowed all of us to dig deep, to think differently, and to recognize that this crisis, while long-standing, should not be allowed. To achieve our mission of eradicating poverty, we need everyone. People need to be willing to give time, talent, and treasure. That treasure can come in many forms and can support many realms, from helping a workforce training, providing a laptop to one of those job seekers who otherwise wouldn't have one, to providing cleaning equipment to allow us to ensure that the distribution of beds and sofas are as safe as possible, to allowing us to tech up this new space or hire new staff to better address the needs that are coming through our door. That is what funding and investment and engagement looks like. But all of you out there can also engage a friend, help someone learn more, or educate yourself about the issues, but take the time to engage, figure out what gift you have to offer, but specifically think about the $20, $30, $50, or $500 or $5,000 that you might have that could make a true impact in the lives of the people we serve. I am A Wider Circle.
Thank you, Amy, for sharing that and for your leadership and for making so much of tonight possible. You know, we have worked in DC and more specifically in Southeast DC since 2004, and this new center will be our greatest step yet. The services we will offer there will be based on input we receive from those living in the community. It will be a high-tech and a high-touch center where we work with our partners to address urgent and long-term needs and to support important change. And a big thanks to Avalon Bay for all of their efforts in leading that build-out. Michael, back over to you.
Thank you, Mark. That's certainly going to be an impressive center, and I look forward to visiting it when it's open to serve. Success in our work relies on partners and on learning from those in the region and beyond. Our next honoree hails from Illinois, home to the third most populated city in the U.S. Illinois has many of the same struggles as our local region when it comes to poverty. In fact, A Wider Circle has built partnerships with groups in Chicago to share ideas and learn new strategies for eradicating poverty. We are grateful for Senator Durbin's support for our work, as well as his tremendous efforts in his home state and for the nation. Let's hear from him now.
Hello, friends. Years ago, I met an amazing man in Bangladesh. He became my friend and ultimately my inspiration. His name is Muhammad Yunus. You may have heard of him. Like Mark Burgell, Muhammad Yunus believes that the first step toward ending poverty is refusing to accept and normalize poverty. The next step for Muhammad Yunus was reimagining who is worth investing in. Yunus invented a concept he called micro-lending. I'm sure many have heard of it. Lending small amounts of money to some of the poorest people on earth, beggars, destitute widows, so that they would have a chance, just a fighting chance, to make a living. Conventional banking wisdom rejected this. They said basically only lend money to people who already have money. Well, micro-lending turned that idea on its head, and it worked. When I saw how that bank that my friend founded, Grameen Bank in Bangladesh, was able to lift people out of crushing poverty, I said, someday Muhammad Yunus is going to win the Nobel Prize for Economics. Well, in 2006, Muhammad Yunus was awarded the Nobel Prize for Peace, the most prestigious of all Nobels. The Nobel Committee said that by breaking the chains of deep generational poverty, micro-lending could reduce the incidence of war, climate and habitat destruction, gender inequality, and so many other grave threats facing our world. I admire the work of A Wider Circle because Mark Burgell and the volunteers and supporters of this great organization also challenge us to think differently. Ending poverty isn't a matter of charity, it's a matter of justice. And it's possible when we expand our circle of caring and connection. I particularly want to thank A Wider Circle for the work it's doing in Chicago with the Institute for Nonviolence. Thank you for the award that you've given me. Thanks for showing the world that change for the better is possible if you believe in it and commit yourself to it.
Thank you, Senator Durbin, for all of your efforts and support. It is our honor to present you with this award, our 2020 Commitment to Change Award. To all of you watching, there's still an opportunity to support our work. We're seeking donations of $1,000 in support of our theme, Recovery for All. Your funds will support our ongoing work, allowing us to meet the immediate needs prompted by the pandemic, as well as provide us resources needed for recovery. You can commit to a Recovery for All by visiting us online right now at awidercircle.org, R4All, to donate $1,000. Critical partners in this recovery come from all sectors, public, nonprofit, and private. Corporations are a core pillar of support in this work. Whether as volunteers, funders, or thought leaders, the corporate sector can make a huge impact. Our next honoree, Marriott CEO and President Arne Sorensen, does just that, both individually and through corporate commitment. Let's hear from Arne now.
Good evening. Tonight, I'm delighted to participate in the first virtual community ball. In this era of COVID-19, everything has gone virtual, from sports to weddings and bar mitzvahs to gala events. You are all safely at home, no doubt thinking about past community balls held at the majestic National Building Museum. Tables as far as the eye can see. People gathered with a shared passion for the work of A Wider Circle. Beautiful and memorable events. Tonight, you're at your kitchen table. Okay, so we may not have all the glitz and glamour of past events, but why we are here is unchanged, and I would suggest more important than it's ever been before. The theme of tonight's program, Recovery for All, could not be more relevant. We're living in unprecedented times, which means we need unprecedented and inclusive efforts to eradicate poverty and foster economic opportunity. COVID-19 has been a horrible event for all of humankind, but for those experiencing poverty, this pandemic is crushing. Poor socioeconomic status is a risk factor for contracting COVID-19, from substandard housing conditions to jobs on the front line, to the need to take public transportation, to the chronic stress that comes with living on the margins in this country today. The odds are quite literally stacked against our nation's poor as they try to navigate this health crisis. And that's why A Wider Circle's work is as important as ever, providing life-changing services to support both people and societal change. A Wider Circle has stayed open throughout this pandemic, providing essential support services so that the community that counts on this assistance was not abandoned. 19 years ago, as he delivered meals to low-income families, Mark Burgell witnessed poverty that was unrelenting. And that experience shaped his understanding of what was needed to truly give people a hand up and help them out of poverty. A circle that surrounded the individuals and families most at risk and looked for ways to meet all their needs. Furnishings and the basics to make a home, well, a home. A bed to sleep in, a table to eat dinners together, a desk to study at. The stability that comes from being in a dignified home. But then the circle got bigger with A Wider Circle's job training program. Through workforce development initiatives and boot camps, all with one goal in mind, helping people achieve the security that comes with meaningful employment. We are all part of the circle too, supporting this incredible work through our resources, financial, in-kind donations, and volunteering. Thank you to Mark and the team at A Wider Circle for all you have done and for the promise of what will come next. I am humbled that you have chosen to honor Marriott and me in this way. We have been proud partners for a long time, and our associates are passionate about being a part of your organization. To my fellow honorees, Senator Durbin, Senator Smith, and Mayor Bowser, I'm honored to be in your company. Every day you fight to make our country, our community, and our nation's capital places of opportunity for all. Thank you for your commitment to equality and for your public service. We don't know when this pandemic will end and our communities will return to some sense of normalcy. But we do know that working together, we can all make a difference in the drive toward recovery and toward ending poverty. Thank you again for this wonderful recognition.
Thank you, Arnie, for your powerful words and your partnership. You are an incredible person. Your achievements in business are unparalleled. Your support of a wider circle is just as incredible. And I want to thank you for being the person you are. I am deeply honored, and we as an organization are honored to present you with the 2020 Distinguished Corporate Citizen Award. Thank you again, Arnie. And here's to making the coming year one that is filled with the love, the innovation, togetherness, and success that has characterized your inspiring work at Marriott.
Great words of inspiration from Arnie. We're now excited to hear from another impressive pair, Tasharn, one of our neighborhood clients, and Tina, a key volunteer and Tasharn's financial coach. Let's hear about their collaboration and value of volunteering.
I am Keith from A Wider Circle. Thank you for everything you guys do. Now listen to the story.
I volunteer with Wider Circle, providing money management coaching to Tasharn Richardson. I've been working with her since January this year. Her big why is I want to buy a home for my children. And because of my professional background, that's what I specialize in. So it's been a win-win for both of us.
Tina, she is a great friend, coach, mentor, who's been very dedicated and committed to helping me.
What has been awesome about this process and working with her, her family has been a huge cheerleader because they're like, first of all, they're like, Mom, you have a money management coach? Yes. And then secondly, because most importantly, they've been waiting for their mom to buy them a home.
I signed up for housing search, and it comes to my email. So they all go on my email and they look at the housing listings every day, and so they're pointing out different things. Hey, look at this, this one has this. They even pay attention to the pricing. They pay attention to the location, like the city and state. Jelani, she's the one, she's like, we're in the store, we go shopping or I'm spending. She's like, okay, that didn't go past the budget, did it? Our goal is to purchase a home, so.
I'll be like, is this really necessary? Do they need this? I thought they already had this. How much is this?
Being more flexible. I think that's what's important, and what I've learned is the flexibility, because at the end of the day, I'm vested in her success or anybody else that I would help. So if I need to make adjustments in my approach and how I coach someone, why not? To help them get to where they need to go and they want it, I'm on it.
Tina helps me be better at what my goal is, because I feel like I can't look back. I feel like I can't stop. I feel like I can't forget where I came from, and the help and the support and the people and friends that I have in my corner to make sure that we achieve the successes that we want in our life.
What I would tell a donor is that they can have an impact with a wider circle outside of just providing financial resources. I believe that we all were born with a unique gift to bring to this world and to be able to bless others with, and we're all meant to solve a problem that nobody else can solve in our unique way. I would say to that donor who's into, I'm into fashion, that if you love to, get dressed up, style, well, you can volunteer as a stylist. Your time and talent, and help someone who needs a new set of clothes for that job interview, or that needs the clothes to even for the day-to-day going to work. They may not know how to put the pieces together, but you do. You have the eye. Or being able to someone's interviewing for a job. You may be an HR manager. You know what it takes to what managers are looking for when they interview candidates for the job. Or if you just like to organize, there's plenty of stuff between the intake of furniture and the intake of clothes. There's countless things in doing the tour, even for a wider circle, that this organization, that anybody can volunteer. And it's so needed. It's so needed. So don't hesitate to bring your time and your talent, because you'll be a blessing. I am a wider circle.
We are a wider circle.
I loved that video, seeing not only Tashawn, but her entire family and how all of them are part of the process in achieving their goal of home ownership. And Tina is a great example of what volunteering means and how many options exist within a wider circle to volunteer and support change. Tashawn is a resident in a neighborhood in which we work. It is the same community where we're building the center that Amy showed us a few minutes ago. Our commitment to Tashawn and other individuals, families, and the community as a whole are at the core of our neighborhood work. You can join in that commitment by investing in our neighborhood work. For just $40 a month, it'll allow us to meet the ongoing needs in neighborhoods we serve through all kinds of programming, such as distributing bags of household and personal care items in areas that are feeling the brunt of scarcity due to limited access to these supplies during the pandemic. You can help by visiting awidercircle.org/neighborhood and commit to a monthly contribution tonight. The link is also appearing in the chat feed right now, so you can take action. A Wider Circle's work in DC is made possible by key partnerships with many groups and many individuals. One critical partner is none other than my mayor, Mayor Muriel Bowser. Whether through approval of the new Families First program or her intense commitment to families and communities across the district, she is doing the necessary work, and we are deeply pleased to honor her tonight. Let's hear from her now.
Thank you, Michael, for that wonderful introduction, and I'm thrilled to be with you tonight. It's an honor to accept the Excellence in Leadership Award. A Wider Circle has always been there for Washingtonians. You were there for our seniors after the devastating fire at the Arthur Capper Senior Center. Each year during the holidays, you provide toys and joy to thousands of DC children and teenagers. And since 2001, you have been there for more than 90,000 DC residents when they needed you the most. On behalf of our entire community, thank you for all that you do. I am proud to be your partner in this work, especially during these challenging times. Now back to you, Michael.
Thank you, Mayor Bowser. On behalf of A Wider Circle, we are honored to present you with this 2020 Excellence in Leadership Award. We look forward to deepening our relationship with you, and we thank you again for all that you do. It's now my distinct honor to bring you our keynote speaker.
Hi, everybody. I'm Peter.
And I'm Chris.
And we're with the Neighbor to Neighbor team.
Thanks for all that you do.
And now to our president and CEO, Mark Burgell.
Good evening. My name is Mark Burgell, and I'm the founder, president, and CEO here at A Wider Circle. I have not slept in a bed since 2008. And I made that choice because I wanted to connect more to the discomfort that comes with not having what most of us consider essential items, what most of us take for granted. And I recognized that it was just one of the many challenges that comes with living in poverty, and that it is much different to choose to do it than to have it thrust upon you from birth, which is what most people in poverty experience. Now, not everyone in poverty has no beds, but many do. In fact, I've been in hundreds and hundreds of homes where there are no beds, where in fact there are maybe two pieces of furniture, a chair and a television, for example. And people don't have a table and chairs at which to eat a family meal. And there's no couch to sit on at the end of the night. And there's no coffee table on which to put your feet, and no end table on which to put a lamp, and probably no lamp. That's what comes with living in poverty, just scarcity. Albert Schweitzer's quote comes to mind. Think occasionally of the suffering of which you spare yourselves the sight. Think occasionally of the suffering of which you spare yourselves the sight. The suffering we're talking about tonight, the suffering that comes with poverty, is needless. We have the resources, the stuff, the creativity. The real answers, however, probably lie with each of us, right? They're found at that deep level, in our thoughts and our actions. Because no matter what else is happening around us, and there's a lot happening around us these days, but it's how we treat the most vulnerable in our midst that is the reflection we see in the mirror. people whose neighborhoods are not safe, where shootings are commonplace. That's the definition of human vulnerability. What do we do about that? Where there's a lack of income, no money, a defining element of poverty. That's even more commonplace than the danger of which I just spoke. Words such as food deserts, service deserts, under-resourced, those are terms that have defined communities for decades. When do we stop that? When do we make those terms a thing of the past? A Wider Circle is on the ground every day, 7 days a week in response to this. And tonight, we all have the opportunity, you have the opportunity to do something about it. Tonight, through your support, we can make sure that those communities can be defined by words such as thriving, resourced, opportunity. So I ask you tonight to think about living through this pandemic, being homebound morning, noon, and night, with no furniture. On what do you sit, right? Like we said, on what do you sleep if you don't have a bed? What do you do? It's already deleterious to your health. How would you have responded to living in such scarcity during this pandemic? And that's why the theme of tonight is a recovery for all, because there will be a recovery. We will recover from what we're experiencing today and this season and the past 6 months as a society. And however much forward we still have to live with this physical distancing. There will be a recovery when businesses open up. And it's our responsibility, each of us, to ensure that this recovery is a recovery for all. We know this is a time for change, right? We see it. There's a bright light being shined on what needs to change. Yet those in poverty are continually marginalized, neglected, and even exploited. Shared prosperity, or even a shared experience of having enough to get by, has not been something we've experienced in this country. And this is our chance to make that possible. And that's why I will transition in 2021 to a more national focus. Right? We will share more on this spinoff in the coming season. I'll become the executive chair of the board of a Wider Circle while I create an institute to focus on national change, on structural change and systemic changes that are needed to make sure everybody has the opportunity to live well. And the national plan about which we have been talking, that national plan will be the first focus of this institute. In fact, come on with me to my office and we'll take a closer look at this national plan. So this national plan, which will be the first initiative of our national work, is focused on a few things. First, on educating people on really what's happening and how is it that we measure and count incorrectly the number of people who live in need in this country. And then where do they live? And finally, the focus of this plan is action. And so the action guide will tell you how you can really engage, whether as an individual or with your business, your faith community, your civic association. As you'll see, it's very exciting and just loaded with ways that you can make a difference, a real difference in ending poverty. So first thing is we need to make sure that we understand how many people live in need of assistance. And the federal poverty line does not really do that. It's been inadequate since it was created. And what a Wider Circle is doing is using 50% of median income to say, you know what, that's a better measure of who lives in need of assistance. That's tried and true. It's used around the world. And so that is what we are using for our income standard. And let me show you these income standards. They're locally based, which is also different. The federal poverty line is national in scope, which is insane because the cost of living is so different depending on where you live. So we shouldn't measure poverty the same in every location. So if we were to choose where I'm sitting now, which is Maryland, and we were to choose Montgomery County, then what you would see is what are the income standards in this county. That's the blue line. But if we go to the bottom of this table, we can see what the federal poverty guidelines are in the United States. And what you see is that a family of 4 is only considered in poverty if their annual income is less than $26,200, which again is kind of insane. And it's condescending and insulting of what it really takes to get by. So if you are making $28,000 as a family of 4, you're not considered in poverty. And what's dangerous about that is many benefits are hooked either to the poverty line or to a multiplier of it. For example, food benefits, SNAP, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. You get that up to 130% of the poverty line. So if you're in a family of 4 in Montgomery County and you make $36,000, you do not get SNAP anymore. And by the way, using our income standards, you can see that $36,000 is not even halfway to having enough money to get by without assistance. if you look at this line. And we've done every county, not only in the state of Maryland, but in the entire nation. Before I show you the map, I'll show you that not only do we show the standards, but you can see how many people live below these income standards, how many people are truly living in need of assistance. And what I can tell you right now is that number goes from about 38 million that we currently consider to be the number in poverty to about 76 million. That is just a metaphor for the way we've undercounted and underperformed in addressing the needs of those in poverty. And so here you can see that in the state of Maryland, there's about 6 million people, and we right now say about 527,000 live in poverty, or 9%. What we will tell you is that there are really about 1.34 million people in the state of Maryland, or 23%, who live in need of assistance. And in Montgomery County, where you would be told that only 76,000 live in poverty, we would tell you that 222,000 live in need of assistance. So like I said, we do that everywhere in the country, and here's a map to show you just how that lays out in a heat map format. So you can zoom in on this, or you could type into it and just say, show me Washington, D.C., or as you see, we'll zoom into it. And as we zoom into it, you can see that in Southeast and Northeast D.C., there are far greater concentrations of people living in poverty than in Northwest D.C. And in Baltimore, you can see that in Southeast and Southwest Baltimore, the needs are far greater than they are in Northeast Baltimore. And all of that allows you to know how you can target your assistance more effectively, go where the needs are greatest. Now, as I said, the action guide is the real key to this plan. So let's take a quick look at that. Here you can see that the heading says choose how you want to help, and you can select the identity that you want to engage as. In other words, do you want to engage as a business? Do you run a business? Do you work for a company and you want to know what your company can do? Then you just select business, and then what area of poverty do you want to help with? Let's say you want to help with childcare. You click childcare, and boom, 4 great suggestions for how you can help end poverty come to the screen. And let's just say that your business wants to focus on transportation instead. Choose transportation, and now you get 5 ways that you can help reduce or remove the hindrance that transportation plays in the overall movement of people trying to get out of poverty. And let's just say that you're not working for a business and you want to just know what you and your family can do. Then you select individual and family, and there's 5 things that you can do to help end poverty. And if you choose basic needs, well, heck, your family can do 5 other things. So in essence, you could say that my family and I, we're going to pick 1 thing a week to do to help end poverty, and this plan would give you 1 thing a week you could do. All right, there's a lot to do with this, and in the coming season, we are going to hopefully have a lot of you helping. And if indeed you want to help launch this plan, if you want to learn more or help us launch this, then just email me at mark, M-A-R-K, at awidercircle.org, and we'll put you to work. Okay, so we're back. Thanks for looking at that plan. We're very excited to launch it. It's really the next step in the growth of this movement to end poverty, a movement that's rooted for us in the daily work of a wider circle, in our experiences and our interactions with people who live day to day facing the challenges of poverty. And during this pandemic, when social isolation presents so many new challenges for us all, when there are dramatic changes to our social interactions, a wider circle has been serving hard. In fact, we have found a way to furnish 10 to 15 homes every single day. Every day during this pandemic, we are furnishing 10 homes, 12 homes, 14 homes, masks on, physical distancing, and yet committed to making sure that everyone in our midst has these basic need items. It is as wrong can be to allow families to live in such scarcity, to sit on crates, and to not have the means to just get what we consider essential, what we all take for granted. We have to make sure that everybody has that opportunity. Even with all of the stuff in our midst, we have yet to make sure that families can live comfortably and with stability. Because when you can live comfortably and with stability, you can think about what's next. And that's why at a wider circle, we focus so much on job training and workforce development, because that's what's next. Because it is true that nobody gets out of poverty without a job. And so every day now, we are being creative and innovative, using Zoom and being on the phone every day. In fact, we have classes going on right now, not this moment, but this past week and this coming week, where we will have people join via Zoom and take what we used to deliver through boot camps in person. We know that people whom we serve are ready to work. They have the skills and the talents to work, and we just have to make sure they have the opportunities to work. And that's what your support tonight can make possible. Your support through our workforce development programming allows us to not only help people build their resumes, but it allows us to make sure they have professional clothing, so critical in the job search and in having the clothes to just wear to work each day. We'll also make sure that they get job coaches, that network and that support that people need so much, that comes so naturally to others, does not come for folks in poverty. So we create those networks through job coaching. All of what's necessary to rise from poverty to financial independence is what you help make possible through our workforce development program. And our third program, Neighborhood Partnerships, is at a very exciting stage, for we are right now constructing a new 3,000 square foot center. It will be our first real headquarters in a low-income community. And we go to these communities when we're asked to go. And when we go to these communities, after being invited, we listen. We don't tell people what they need to do. We listen to what they need. And then we offer services that can support their rise out of poverty. So when we go into a community and we set up a center like this, it is a resident-led program. And that is critical for us. And it's a model that we hope can be replicated or exported. But first we need to get it right, and we need your help to do so. So that's what tonight's all about. It's helping to support that kind of programming. The work of a wider circle has never been more important. The team is strong, and the work is in such high demand. And I've seen a wider circle work for nearly 2 decades now. I know how talented this team is. I know how hard they're working. I know how much compassion they have. I've seen this up close for decades, but never have I seen it stronger than during this pandemic. Never have I seen the heroism of this team at such a level as I see today. Nothing is going to stop us from serving. Yes, as a management team, we made sure the staff was all safe in doing this work, but we couldn't keep them from doing this service. And tonight I'm asking you to support that, to support them, to support us every day so that we can make sure that more and more families can experience life with the stability and dignity that they deserve. If you are looking to create positive change, if you are looking to do something that will bring us together instead of divide us, then this is it. A wider circle is the place for change. It's the place where love and respect equals action and change. And you can make so much more possible. I invite you to do that, and I thank you for joining us tonight. Good night.
Mark, your words always inspire me, and tonight was no exception. You and your team have accomplished so much by bringing so many people together to solve problems and create lasting impact for those in need in our community. This national plan is a critical launching pad for even broader efforts and engagement, and I'm excited to see the amazing impact it will yield. Your work in building a wider circle, in widening the circle of compassion, and in fostering a movement to end poverty inspires us all. Let us continue the work and build the needed opportunities in change. Tonight has been a truly special evening. Thank you so much to everyone who's been here with us tonight. While this evening is starting to come to a close, you still have a final opportunity to give. And I'm going to ask for all of us to make a commitment. Everyone watching here tonight, please visit the link, awidercircle.org/final-push, or as you know by now, check out the chat box to find the link there, and please donate now. Our support tonight has the power to change the lives of thousands and put us one step closer to ending the poverty pandemic. Now, I know we've held you in suspense all night, so we couldn't possibly close without revealing who won the basket of gift cards from our raffle and who will enjoy those fantastic items from our virtual auction. So let's start with a raffle. The winner of our raffle is Emily Carmody. Congratulations, Emily. We'll reach out to confirm with you early next week, so start planning your dining and shopping adventures. Thank you to all who entered and the many donors and vendors who helped build a great gift basket of gift cards. Now we have some auction winners to go through, so let's pull those together. The big winners of tonight. First up, a virtual mixology class with Charlie Steiner goes to Vanessa Richardson. 2 round-trip flights on United Airlines goes to Martin Durbin. A 75-minute in-home Swedish massage from Erika Day Spa goes to Kathleen Wilkes. A virtual show or magical Zoom party with the Great Zucchini goes to Samantha Kane. 100 bottles of wine. Wow, 100 bottles of wine from Total Wine & More goes to Martin Durbin. 2 tickets to Improbable Comedy goes to Lisa Stransky. 2 cookbooks by Kathy Barrow goes to Shimtimini Keith. Framed package of outdoor shots by Richard Lasseter goes to Joel Poretsky. A framed print package of food in Italy by Richard Lasseter goes to Imran Javed. And the VIP experience at David Yurman goes to Martin Durbin. We've got a 12-pack of Soul Mega Beer goes to Shim Timony Keith. Virtual session pass at the Roundhouse Theater goes to Lisa Grappa Norris. 3 free drop-in classes at Circle Yoga go to Robert Loesch. And finally, a 1-hour consultation with a stress management expert, Robin Carnes, goes to Vanessa Richardson. Thanks to all the vendors and to all the donors for the auction. It's such a great mix of items. If you're not sure if you heard your name for the raffle or the auction and you were a big winner, don't worry. A team member from A Wider Circle will follow up with you on Monday to confirm your prize. As we wrap up, I want to give another huge thank you to all of you for tuning in. I want to thank Mark for sharing this stage and the night with us. And thanks to ABC&D Company for just being great partners in putting on this great production. After the program, virtual tables will be open for the next hour for all those who wish to catch up and connect with friends and colleagues. Please look in the chat box to see the instructions on how to access the networking area and visit the expo hall, where you'll find more information about A Wider Circle. Also, please don't forget to share all your screenshots from tonight and on social media using the hashtags CommunityBall and Recovery for All. So once again, thank you for your support and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you for supporting A Wider Circle.
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 Thanks for supporting A Wider Circle.
Thank you for supporting A Wider Circle.
Thank you for supporting A Wider Circle.
Thank you for supporting A Wider Circle.
Thanks for supporting A Wider Circle.
We are A Wider Circle! We are A Wider Circle.